everyone, and welcome back to The Wave. I'm Mariana, a senior here at MTSU.
And I'm Emma, a sophomore, and we have a great show in store for you tonight.
Yes, and as you know, each week we highlight a new musician here at MTSU. So let's take a look who we have this week.
Hi y'all, I'm Hayley Payne. I love to sing, I love to play guitar, I love to write songs. I wrote my first song when I was like 8, and I was like, okay, if I love to do this, and people can do this for a living, like, why don't I do that too?
Even that she could change, boy, let it sink.
There was never really a question whether or not it was country that I wanted to do. I've just always kind of known that. I grew up in Kentucky, about 2.5 hours away from Nashville, and my dad and my mom loved country music, and so they would always play it in the car. It was we had all these different CDs. I listened to watching rides or whatever, and so I fell in love with country music. I loved that you could tell stories in that way.
And you wanna scream, don't call me kid, don't call me baby. Look at this godforsaken mess that you made me. You show me colors you know I can't see with anyone else.
Whether or not I actually write a song about something that I've personally experienced, even though sometimes I definitely have, I get an idea from somewhere and some experience that I might have had, just like a phrase I've heard someone say, and I try to find something that I can relate to in that. And so I think that all my songs are a piece of me in some way. I've always loved that, about how you can just pour your heart out in such a real way and even be specific, and that can still mean so much to someone else and relate to their life too.
They say that 2 is better than 1. So baby, what are you waiting on? Don't you see, you and me sounds good, don't you think?
I would say that I just want people to hear my music and feel something, whether that be excited and happy and dancing with your friends in the car, or crying about someone that broke your heart.
I'm so excited. We'll hear from Hayley in just a bit, but for right now, Mariana and I are going to keep you up to date on some things going on locally.
That's right, and to kick it off, we have popular indie artist Phoebe Bridgers making big waves in the music industry as she launched her very own record label named Satisfactory.
Bruce Springsteen's upcoming album titled Letter to You will be released on October 23rd. But that's not all. The new album will be accompanied by a documentary following Springsteen and the making of the album.
And now for the news of the week, Dolly Parton will be releasing a holiday musical special called Christmas on the Square. The musical will premiere on Netflix on November 22nd. The heartwarming story will feature 14 of Dolly's original songs. I'm so excited.
It looks like we're going to be having a watch party on November 22nd. We will be right back with Hayley Payne after this break.
All right, as promised, Hayley Payne.
Hey.
Hi. Hello.
How are you
like
guys?
An air hug,
Yeah,
like COVID
style.
style.
Yes.
We're so excited to have you on the show today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you guys.
We're just asking you, a couple questions, get to know you a little
we'll
better.
get to know you.
Yeah.
So, what inspired your newest single?
So it's called History, and it came from a conversation with my mom. Actually, we were in the car, and we were talking about those couples that break up and get back together like 10,000 times.
We all know one.
Oh yeah, you all know one. We all do. And I was like, Mom, I just don't understand why these people do this to themselves. And she was like, I guess there's just too much history there. And I was like, whoever said that was a good thing? And then I was like, this is a song. And so I wrote it in like 10 minutes, right after that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah.
Okay, well, perfect. To piggyback off that, what's your writing process and production process with songs, or history if you have a special one?
So usually I start with the title, something like that. So that's kind of where that one came from too, was just this general idea and a title, and then and kind of the hook of okay, well, whoever said history was a good thing. And so with most songs, I usually think of a title first. That might hear something in conversation, and I'll get out my phone and type it on my notes real fast, and just think of a cool way to say something that maybe someone hasn't said before. But I usually do start with the title and then probably write the chorus, and the verses usually come after that. And the production is always really cool, because when you work with somebody else, you kind of see a song come to life in a way that you might not have expected. So I think honestly production is different with every song.
Yeah, I just love hearing other people's or their ways of how they write and things like that. It's so interesting to me because everyone's process is different.
Yeah. And honestly, I think every song is different, you know.
Yeah.
All of my songs, I think, have kind of come from a different place organically, and so I think that's cool to see the life that each of them takes on.
For
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Who would you say are like your biggest like influences or like artists that you look up to?
Well, some people think it sounds super basic, but I've always loved Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Ever since I was like 6, I think
Same,
she's a
same.
freaking genius. She's a lyrical songwriting genius. She's an amazing businesswoman. And I remember seeing her video for Teardrops on My Guitar when I was 6 on TNT.
yeah.
And I was like, I want to be her. And I think with her, the most inspiring thing about her to me is the way that she writes songs and tells stories. And, you know, especially as someone who like grew up listening to her music, you know, like through heartbreaks and so many hard things, or even just, you know, fun times, like I can remember listening to her music, and I would love to be able to do that for someone. But more recently, I love Casey Musgraves, Maren Morris, Kelsey Ballerini. I love the way that they tell stories. Dolly Parton is like one of my, you know, biggest icons,
of
obviously,
course.
because she's just a queen. And the way that she writes songs and tells stories is like unlike any other. So she's definitely a huge influence on me too.
Yeah, those are all great influences and all great performers too.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
So, what's your favorite memory of performing live?
I think it's the people that I get to meet. I like seeing people out in the crowd and like having people come up and talk to me after, especially like young girls, because I remember that was me. And you know, I'd see anyone perform live and I was like, oh, I'd love to do that. You know, but especially like huge artists that I, you know, want to see. When I've seen like Taylor Swift and, you know, all these people perform, I'm like, oh my gosh, the way that you look up to someone on the stage like that. So it's been really sweet to meet like little girls who like think I'm somebody important, you know, just because I'm singing on a microphone, and you know they have no idea. But I think it's sweet to see them come up and be like, oh my gosh, like you're so awesome, and to see that like that little twinkle in their eye that like I used to have, even though you know I'm still just little old me. But I think that's cool. So I definitely say the people that I get to meet doing that.
Awesome, that's so
awesome.
cool. We love that. Yeah.
So where can we find your socials?
So you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. My Instagram is Hayley Payne Music, and it's HAYLEY PAYNE. A lot of my friends call me Hey Pay, easier to remember because there's so many different ways to spell Hayley, but mine's with 2 Y's. And then my Twitter is Hayley P Music, and my Facebook is just like /Hayley Payne Music.
Okay, awesome. Well, everybody should check you out. And you're actually about to go set up and perform for us.
Yeah.
So best of luck.
Thank you.
And we will see you guys after this break.
Staying in Friday night, dinner and candlelight. He always knows how to make me laugh. He turns on the radio. I'm trying not to show, but I hear our song and it takes me back to a year ago, before you quit me. It's been a while since we've spoke, and that's when it hit me. I found someone else to see a movie with, someone else to hold my hand. Thought it was you I would be with, but things don't turn out how we planned. Well, I'm out with him, I like to think you're spending your nights alone. You always said you didn't know what you'd do without me, but I guess now you know. I guess now you know. Going out on Friday night, dancing in neon lights. He always shows me how to be free. I look over to the bar, past the smoke and the guitars, and I think there's no way that this could be. You always were the guy who had all the fun, but now you're acting shy, throwing back another one. I found someone else to see a movie with, someone else to hold my hand. Thought it was you I would be with, but things don't turn out how we planned. Well, I'm out with him, I like to think you're spending your nights alone. but I guess now you know. I guess now you know. If you could have seen how things would be, would you still have let me go? 'Cause I'm doing fine. It took some time, but I guess now you know that I found someone else to see a movie with, someone else to hold my hand. Thought it was you I would be with, but things don't turn out how we planned. I'm out with him, now I see you're spending your nights alone. You always said you didn't know what you'd do without me, but now you know. Now you know. Now you know. Boy, what you thinking? Believing that she could change. Boy, let it sink in. I thought you hated her yesterday. She's got more drama than a Broadway show. You break up, you make up. We know how the story goes. Just 'cause you've got history don't mean it's good. It shouldn't be a mystery. If it was gonna work, it would have the first time or the last time. But it's been 100 times, and everyone else but you can see. Boy, she should be history, history, history. Boy, she should be history, history, history. Yeah, sure, I get it. She's the only one who's ever met your parents well, but they don't like her anyway. Just 'cause it's familiar don't mean it's right. It's time that you forget her and move on with your life. Just 'cause you've got history don't mean it's good. It shouldn't be a mystery. If it was gonna work, it would have the first time or the last time. But it's been 100 times, and everyone else but you can see. Boy, she should be history, history, history. Boy, she should be history, history, history. Yeah, they say history, yeah, history repeats itself. But baby, oh baby, she is bad for your health. History, yeah, history repeats itself. But baby, oh baby, she is bad for your health. Just 'cause you've got history don't mean that it's good. It shouldn't be a mystery. If it was gonna work, it would have the first time or the last time. But it's been 100 times, and everyone else but you can see. Boy, she should be history, history, history. Boy, she should be history, history, history. Yeah, they say history, yeah, history repeats itself. But baby, oh baby, she is bad for your health. History, yeah, history repeats itself. But baby, oh baby, she is bad for your health. Yeah, and she should be history. Yeah, yeah.
All right, give it up for Hayley.
Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. We'll see you next week here on The Wave.